podcast where art and wellness fly. Well, hi and welcome back to the Healthy Metal Hippie. Today we are talking about confidence, and holy cats, it is quite a broad subject when you really look at it. I don't know why this past week confidence just seems to keep coming up. I think struggling with feeling confident is probably more universal than we might feel. It's been so interesting to hear about how others perceive themselves and how we perceive other people to start with. I've been listening to Alex Van Halen's book, Brothers, and it's been incredibly interesting for me to hear that Eddie had a lot of self-doubt, that he felt like he had something to prove. And, it comes across, maybe this is not quite right, but it almost comes across that Eddie felt he wasn't really good enough. And I think you and I hear this and we're like, but that's Eddie Van Halen. Of course he was good enough. And it just kind of shows it's probably not that uncommon, because I've read about it in other sort of areas where an artist that I really love and admired has felt that they weren't good enough, that they were almost unworthy of the success. I think there's one thing to always feel like you want to grow and you want to expand everything that you're doing and the things you're creating and push your boundaries and push your limits. But to feel that deep sense of unworthy, of lacking confidence, of am I really able to do this? I find it just so surprising. And some of the people that I talk to as well, you sit there and you're just like, oh my God, you're incredible. And something deep inside, it just doesn't feel that way. People have said to me, Ash, you're so outgoing and you're so confident. And I've never felt that way in my life. I am very much a person of fake it till you make it. And even if you don't make it, just keep faking it and keep going, because one day it's all going to click. Hearing people that I work with say to me that they thought I was so confident, hearing my friends say this lately, and I absolutely love them for it. And I'm happy that it presents that way. But how I explained it is it's almost like glaze over, like blinders almost. Go in, kind of don't think, just go in and do it because you have to. And because at the end of the day, you want to, right? But also partially for me, it's I have to force myself to do these things. I wish that it came a little bit easier. But what I'm noticing is that with practice, it does come easier. Even coming to sit down and record podcasts like this with guests or without guests, I have a bit of an, oh my God, what in the hell am I doing? And so I'd force myself, you know what? Because I do get nice feedback where people say, oh, Ash, this meant a lot to me, or whatever it is. I say, okay, it helped one person. You need to keep going. You need to, if not for yourself and just to talk about all the shit on my mind, but for other people, because obviously, again, we're all on that more of a wavelength than we feel that we are sometimes. We feel there's that big disconnect between us and the world. There's not. We're all so interconnected. We are all feeling the same things. And that's why it's important to have conversations about it, because we're all operating on the same frequencies in a collective sense. It's very exciting when you really look at it. But that's the importance of talking to people over the past few years. As I know I've mentioned before, that feeling of losing my voice and then starting to get it back and then coming on and doing things like this, it's been very important for me in building some sort of confidence, some sort of self-worth, and also self-understanding. And that is a big part of why I keep pushing forward to do it, because I think in the long run, we all have incredible stories to share. We all have incredible things to talk about, interesting ideas and perspectives, encouragement, and what we should all feel like we're able to express them in whatever form that may be, even if it's to your friends or on an online platform. It really doesn't matter. It has been, I guess, truly a moment of burning everything to the ground and then kind of rebuilding in a more fortified manner. And trust me when I say comfort zones, I don't know her anymore. I just don't, because I know for myself I have to push myself out of it no matter what. And it's because I think comfort zones are those places that we end up feeling stagnant, that we stop our growth. We lose some of our insight and some of our creativity. And so when we're going, even if we're just like taking our toes out of the box just a little bit, that is where the change happens. That's where confidence builds. That's where creativity builds and ideas are formed. And that's where like all that little magic happens. It's special. And I'm just going to say this right here. If you feel like you don't have that, I'm promising you that you do, because you have all of that inside. If you want to have that all, you do have it all. There's the potential for fucking anything. So you just have to figure out how to tap into it. I don't know if I'm the best tap, but that's the way that I get myself to move forward. I have to do it for myself. I have a lot of that old stuff that sits there in the back of our mind and deep within our souls that somehow we've allowed to just form part of the root of who we feel we are, not who we actually are, but who we feel that we are. And that stuff comes up, especially when we put ourselves in these vulnerable spaces, right? And it really is that confidence killer. Those old voices that come up of self-doubt, they are trying to keep you down. They are stopping your potential. They are stopping your growth and everything that you are striving for in your life. So you need to just squash them, right? It's not easy to do. When I find that they come up for me, what I truthfully need to do is take myself aside, go look in the mirror, or even just write it in my phone or on a piece of paper, or even just in my head, come up with the facts. This is not true because I have all of this to back it up. And then I give myself the opposite. If I'm saying, I cannot do it, I am going to go challenge myself. Okay, really? Why can't you do it? And then it starts to remove those little barriers, but we have to just drill that shit into our own heads, because that's the only way we kind of end up stepping over those hurdles, right? Because you have to just kind of do a brain cleanse and just release it. We don't want our potential to be stopped by things that have happened to us or things we've felt or experienced, no matter how big or seemingly insignificant that they may have been. We can't be the ones that sit and hold ourselves back and hurt ourselves in the long term. Part of this is a bit about change of perception. It's about, thinking about how we really look at other people and listening to the actual things that people are saying about us, not judging it based on perception. Like, I don't know, I only got 5 likes on this post, I must be trash. Well, no, that's not really how it works. Or we can't judge things on our perception of it. We have to look at the facts and look at a long line of almost historical data, right, to back it up. When I look at, for example, the feelings of self-worth, there are many more things to back up that I do have worth than there are to back up that I do not have worth. Okay, we need to look for those things and kind of flip that. The other thing I was just telling my friend about this morning actually was when we are faced with these times that we decide, no, we can't because of XYZ. What if I look dumb? What if I blah, blah, blah? We need to flip that and go, what if the absolute best outcome happened? What's the real harm on the flip side, of doing something versus not doing something? Because I think as long as you're acting in best interest of yourself and your community, as long as it's not something harmful for other people, you're really not taking a risk, by doing something. I mean, you are in a sense, but I want you to think of it a risk that it's going to be magnificent and better than you could have ever imagined, than the risk that everything will totally backfire and blow up in your face. Because 99% of the time, things don't blow up in your face. Maybe they're not ultra extremely magnificent, but they're also not end of the world. They're really not. And I think we really need to lean into what if the best things kind of happen for us. That's my hot take for the day. One of the other things that I have really had to fight with is rejection sensitivity. I have a few friends that deal with this as well, and it's so unbelievably crippling. And again, some of it comes down to perception too. Like if somebody didn't respond to a message straight away, or there's so many scenarios, but some of this stuff is so minuscule, but it can feel crushingly like extreme rejection. And I think it sends people who suffer from this into a bit of a spiral. Hi, self included. And it can be really damaging. And so this is another time where I find that coming back and thinking about perception and really giving yourself grace and going, okay, I am not the absolute worst person in the world. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I am not the worst person in the world. I don't deserve to have horrible things happen to me. Just because somebody didn't respond straight away, it doesn't mean that they hate me. It doesn't mean that they never want to see me again, because this is what it can feel like. We could do a whole actual in-depth episode about that. Maybe we will one day, but it is crippling. And I also think that it really stunts your ability to be confident and to step into all the good shit that you can actually do. This is where I come back and I remind myself all of the reasons why that is proven to not be the truth. Maybe my perceived truth and my feeling at the moment, but it's not the actual truth. For God's sakes, I even have times where I think that my mom doesn't even love me anymore. And she does. Hi, Mom. I know you love me. But those things really hurt too. There's no real evidence to back it up, but they do really hurt. And you have to put yourself back into, documenting things and reminding yourself why these things are disproven when they come up for you. For me, at least, it has been part of a key in building confidence, having that reinforcement, that perception, old thoughts, rejection sensitivity, not reality. Absolutely not reality. Other thing I've really been noticing lately is the fact that we are, as a society, working more and more to reject the idea of perfection. I'm seeing it everywhere. We talk about it here a lot, how there is beauty in flaws and there's beautiful in being broken. And I think we are so tired of seeing everything perfectly curated, everything perfectly manicured and put together and built on strategy only. I think we are back for straight up heart connection. We are back for showing up as we are, That's how we connect as people, is rejecting the idea that everything has to be perfect. All that really matters at the end of the day is showing up as yourself, showing up authentically and truthfully, speaking with love, connecting from the soul, giving a fuck about each other. Actually, I see this guy quite often who has a shirt and it says, "Give a damn." And I think that is, that's a good life lesson. Give a damn about each other and about connecting. We're wired for connection, and I think when we can all come together and lift each other up, hold each other, that's where the major healing is going to happen, and that's where we're all going to feel okay and feel grounded and happy to show up as ourselves and be all of the things that are unique and that make us us. There's a lot of fabulous things inside of you, and I want to see all your good bits and all your bad bits, because at the end of the day, they all just make up us. We have lots of things about us that make us amazing, and maybe we have other traits that make us a little bit messy, a little bit less than perfect. But that is that makes the whole package. And the thing is, people like the whole package. They don't like just that one little piece of you or whatever, because if they only do like that one little piece of you, they don't really like you. And that's okay. You have to be okay as well with not being liked. That is one for another day. So this week, I want to know, do you feel confident? Do you have trouble tapping into it? Are you a fake it or make it? Or what kind of exercises have you done to work on it? I'm so curious. I so want to know. Remember, you have a lot to offer in this world. So I'm sending you lots of love. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for joining us on the Healthy Metal Hippie podcast. For more ways to connect, go to www.healthymetalhippie.com.